Hey everyone.
Hey Zach, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Okay.
Hi, how's your semester going?
It's good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, just got out of anti-discrimination law seminar, which has been very interesting.
With Professor Kim?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
For the fellows who are speaking, I thought we'd just go in alphabetical order, but people can also send me a message if you have, a particular like a timing thing. Although yesterday I think there were a couple less people, but we were done within like half an hour. I mean, of people talking, right, Danielle? I think mostly.
I do have another meeting to go to in like 5 to 10 minutes, so I would prefer to go sooner rather than later, please.
We'll just wait a couple of minutes while people are still coming on. Maybe just another minute. Are people still coming on? Danielle, are you? Okay.
Cynthia, it's pretty stable now. I think you can start.
Okay, great. So thank you all for coming. It's really hectic, especially when people have to like rush from class to get to a Zoom place. So thank you so much. I'm Cynthia Godsoe. I'm the director of the Sparrow Fellowship Program, and I just wanted to really briefly talk about it, and the applications which are now up and are due October 29th. So the Sparrow Fellowship Program is both a stipend, so payment to work one summer in public interest, and people can do that after their first year or second year or even third year if they're a part-time student. But it's also a much bigger program that we have lunches and annual symposia, and there's 40 plus years of alumni in all different areas of public interest. And it's a real community here at BLS and beyond. I wanted to just specify that the public interest is defined for this fellowship as opposed to different ones as no government service generally. So not working in prosecutors' offices or other kinds of government services usually. But anyway, you can email me at any time, or Danielle Sorken, who's just going to say a couple of words, or Marva Skeen, who works with us and helps organize the program. And then, but the most important thing for today is to hear from the fellows, some of the fellows who did their placement last summer. And I want them, they're each going to speak for 2 or 3 minutes after Danielle. So after they go, then there'll be maybe some time for questions more broadly, or people can email me like anytime. Danielle?
Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Sorken. I'm the Executive Director of the Public Service Law Center. I just wanted to let you know that we are available for everyone to help them with their applications. You can email publicservice@brooklaw.edu. I'll throw that in the chat, meet with either myself or Jackie in my office, and we're happy to help you with your fellowship essay, with your resume, with thinking thoughts. So don't be a stranger. We're here to support you through this process. And also after this program around 2:15, Jackie Cheney from my office will be in the student lounge to answer any questions. And then I'll also be hosting sort of a more informal Zoom at 6 o'clock tonight if people want to hop on and ask any questions. And so now I'm turning it over to the fellows.
Great. So let's start with Zach Hirschfeld.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Great to see a lot of your faces, and looks like some people not on cameras, but hope you're all doing well. My name is Zach Hershbald. I'm a 2L, interested in environmental justice. And this past summer, I worked for New York Lawyers for the Public Interest, which is a public interest nonprofit law firm that has 3 areas. They have disability justice, health justice, and environmental justice. And so I worked in the latter group. And I was really lucky enough to do kind of a hybrid legal and policy internship. So on the legal side, I helped advise a community group on fighting the siting of a natural gas pipeline in Brooklyn, as well as helped bring a Clean Water Act and nuisance lawsuit in federal court against a waste transfer station in Southeast Queens, who was not taking care of the trash that they were taking in and polluting the surrounding residential community. So it was, kind of right what I want to do on the legal side. And then the policy side, worked a lot with the Peak Coalition, which is a group of environmental justice advocates around New York City and state, trying to stop fossil fuel peaker power plants and replace those with renewable energy sources. So I did a lot of advocacy at public hearings, for state and federal agencies, and worked on coalition building. So it was a fantastic time. Really cannot highly recommend NILP enough. If you want to talk to me about that organization or anything else around environmental justice, please get in touch with me. I'll drop my email in the chat. Sorry, I actually have to run to another meeting in a couple of minutes, but please reach out, or feel free to see me in the flesh on campus and come up to me. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Zach. So Haley Bork.
Hi, my name's Haley. I am a 2L. This past summer, I interned at the Fulton County Public Defender in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm really interested in public defense work, being a public defender, representing, poor criminal defendants who can't afford an attorney of their own. and I really loved my work. It was a lot of working. It was based in Georgia, and so they never really went virtually through the pandemic. They kind of just kept pushing through down there. So I was, I guess, lucky to be able to be in person and to work directly with clients, in jail, folks who've been released, things like that. And so, that's what really draws me towards that line of work, and also, just all of the issues that I have with the criminal justice system. So Sparrow was really helpful for me because obviously it helps to fund me being able to be in a different city during the summer. And if you're interested in public defense, getting an internship, I think, in the city after your 1L year with a public defender office is really competitive. And so I think Sparrow really gives you the opportunity to kind of broaden your geographic range for where you might look for an experience. And so I think it's really, really helpful for that. So if you're interested in public defense or just want to talk about Sparrow in general, I'm here, and you can email me or come up to me like Zach said. Thank you.
Thanks so much. So I'm going to jump around a little bit just because of people's timing. So next is Anastasia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anastasia. I go by Anna also, so you can call me that if you want. So this summer I worked at Brooklyn Legal Services and the Tenants' Rights Coalition. Brooklyn Legal Services was amazing. They're a part of a larger organization, Legal Services of NYC. And so the organization was amazing. You got to not only meet people from Brooklyn Legal Services, but also they had brown bags and information sessions for basically all the different units around the city. And so that was really awesome. It was direct legal services work, but I'm really interested in also impact litigation. So if you have any questions about direct services, about tenants rights, about legal services, Brooklyn Legal Services, or impact litigation, you can reach out to me. Sparrow was awesome because not only did it help me get my internship, they were awesome at helping me, navigate that, work on cover letters. Use Danielle as a resource. She's amazing. We'll edit your cover letters. Really helpful. So yeah, it was also just a great community. We had a picnic, we catch up. So it's just a really awesome group to be a part of. And yeah, you can reach out to me. I'll drop my email in the chat.
Thanks so much, all of you. And I just wanted to highlight, back to what Haley said. Well, first of all, that there's all kinds of organizations even not represented here. I mean, there's lots of amazing ones represented here, but that it's basically any kind of organization, criminal or civil legal services, except for government. Like I said, it could be in other states like Haley. So it's not just limited to New York. Who's next? Oh, Priya Darshani.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Priya Darshani. I'm a 2L. You can also call me Priya. I spent the summer also at Legal Services of NYC, but at the Staten Island office, and I couldn't say enough good things about them. Everyone is super helpful there, and so highly recommend. And I was in the education unit. So my background is I was a teacher. I have a master's in special education, and I wanted to see what advocating for students with special needs looked like from a legal point of view. So a lot of the work we did there were representing families in suits against the New York City Department of Education on making sure they're getting the services they need. I got to do pretty much everything I asked for. They're very flexible. And so I asked, could I get as much litigation related experience? I got to write an opening statement, do client and witness interviews, write affidavits. Some judges will even let you present your opening statement at these hearings, even as right after your 1L year. So you get a lot of hands-on experience. Also, a lot of direct services work. I got to do school visits with clients despite it being remote. I think another good thing about Legal Services of NYC is not only do they do a lot of direct services work, you'll see them do a lot of grassroots lawyering. So we did a lot of community work and trying to get trauma-informed practices into schools by conducting a lot of listening sessions with parents, teachers, and other people in the community. And my supervising attorney was also working on an impact litigation case, and they're currently settling with the New York City Department of Education for doing protocols for language services. I kind of rambled a lot, but there is a lot there, and I'm happy to talk to anyone about anything I just talked about. And I'll also drop my email in the chat.
Thanks, and not rambling at all. It sounds like you did a lot this summer. Carla Gonzalez.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carla. This summer was my Sparrow summer. I worked for Brooklyn's Offender Services, a criminal defense practice. I chose it because that's what I want to practice. That's all I've done since I started law school. And I think that it's really important to see how all the organizations work throughout the city, and just like the differences between the boroughs and how things actually happen in different places. And also, for job placement, trying to go participate in as many places as I can so I can open the doors for more job opportunities. And it was amazing. I really enjoyed it, enjoyed the people. Everyone was really nice. They were always available to answer any and all questions that I had. And just the work was also pretty interesting. It was a little slower because of COVID, so some of it was remote. I got to go in for certain things. Arraignments started happening in person at that time. So I got to witness that. So that was pretty interesting. I did a lot of discovery work, specifically like listening in on calls, transcribing, and all those sorts of things. And yeah, I just found it really helpful to know how everything happens even during COVID times, and just what the difference is between now and what we were used to doing before. And in terms of Spare, I think it's so important because I think in law school, or maybe this is just my personal experience, it's so easy to find people that want to do big law or want to do so many other different types of law. And sometimes I feel like public service gets, lost in that. So being a Sparrow, you get to meet with people that this is what they care about. This is what they do. You get to exchange, talk about the different places, learn about other places that you can possibly do some work at. And I think it's just really valuable what you learn and just the networking. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thanks so much. And I know there's a lot of valuable information in the chat too, which hopefully people can get down, or you can email Danielle or me to send it out. But just people mentioning pro bono projects, which is a great way to get involved in first year. And it's not, because they're run by students, then people understand it's not like a huge time commitment, but it's just a great way to keep your foot in the real world. Yesenia?
Hi, everyone. I'm Yesenia Gonzalez. I'm a 2L, and last summer I was at Catholic Charities Immigration Legal Services Department doing asylum case and cancellation of deportation case. I really enjoyed my time there. I was able to work on these two cases fully and very in depth, writing the brief for the judge and doing evidence and kind of building the statement of facts for both cases, really. So that was really fun. If you're interested in immigration or human rights law, I'm currently interning at the American Bar Association Center for Human Rights, working on a case in Ecuador virtually, and that's been really fun. Yeah.
Awesome, thanks. Raina?
Hi, everyone. I'm Raina. I'm a 2L. I spent my Sparrow Fellowship last summer interning at the James Burr Jr. Center to Stop Hate at the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. It's a lot of words, but it's generally referred to as the Lawyers Committee. They're based in Washington, D.C., and it was fully remote last year, so I obviously don't have the same experience as a lot of past interns for them, but I'm broadly interested in kind of racial justice issues, and that's why I thought the Lawyers Committee was a really great place for me, because they do civil rights impact litigation regarding racial justice from pretty much every angle. So they have the usual practice areas like housing, voting rights, education, but then they also, I think, have some unique practice areas with health and reproductive justice, digital justice, environmental justice. But again, I was working with the Center to Stop Hate, so that was impact litigation regarding hate incidences. And that's not necessarily an area I was specifically interested in, but I still learned a lot of practical skills and a lot of advocacy skills. Something that I appreciated about the team that I worked with was that they were really having serious discussions about restorative justice remedies, because I personally feel like the legal system is not the most appropriate venue to address kind of hate crimes and hate incidences. But it was really interesting because I got to be part of kind of these civil rights task force meetings on hate crimes that were meetings that were being held amongst various civil rights organizations, national civil rights organizations, and a lot of the discussions were on alternatives to the justice system for hate crimes. So it was really cool to be part of those kinds of meetings and strategy meetings with the litigation team. I did primarily research for the cases they were working on. I think impact litigation in general requires a lot of research and writing and a lot of solitary work. So it depends on if you're interested in doing that kind of work. I got to draft some motions, so like deposition notices and motions to extend for reply. And I got to prepare some deposition materials and sit in on depositions, which I've never done before. So given that it was remote, I think the team did a really good job at making me feel included and like I was involved. And just like being able to observe and sit in on like litigation strategy meetings was really interesting because I would learn things that I just wouldn't learn in class. But yeah, I in general, I echo everything everyone else has said about the Sparrow Fellowship. I think it's a really great community and network to be a part of. And also, like, if you know you want to do public interest for the summer, I would highly recommend applying because a lot of nonprofit orgs require that you have external funding. And so it's just easier. It makes the process easier if you already have the Sparrow Fellowship. And so, yeah, I highly recommend.
Thanks so much, Raina. Yeah, and I just wanted to add that there are also other fellowships and sources of funding, like Blisby, so on, like whose applications are due later. So you can always, apply and then wait and see, because sometimes people are selected as fellows first year, sometimes second year. So there's a range of different ways that people come in. Next, Erin Larkin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erin. I'm a 2L. Last summer, I also spent my summer interning at Staten Island Legal Services with Priya. And to echo what she said, I can't recommend them enough. Staten Island is usually a bit forgotten, but don't let that dissuade you because their intern program is so intentional and everyone really recognizes you and loves to have you work on projects, and it's the best. So don't forget them when you're applying this summer. I worked in the housing department, so we worked a lot with defensive work with clients facing eviction in court and did a lot of client education on tenants' rights, helped them obtain needed repairs in their buildings, just a lot of client interaction and writing motions in court to dismiss, and a lot of one-on-one client work, but also researching, writing, building those skills. Also, since eviction rates are so high because of COVID, a lot of clients couldn't afford to pay for rent because of taking care of family or financial struggles with COVID unemployment. I worked a lot on helping them apply for emergency rental assistance, which was really fulfilling and learned a lot through that as well. So can't recommend enough. Housing, I really enjoyed because it kind of serves as an intersect with a lot of different avenues of law. So even if you aren't sure what you want to do public interest, housing is a great place to start because it kind of takes into account several different avenues of public interest law. So you kind of get a taste of everything. I really enjoyed my experience there, and Sparrow is just wonderful because, as many people have said, it just provides you with a community of people who share the same career goals and values that you might not be able to find outside of being a given group whose sole purpose is to provide you with people who want the same thing. So it's been really wonderful and a very fulfilling experience. And reach out if you have any questions with anything, Sparrow, housing, Staten Island, anything. I'll put my email in the chat.
Thanks so much. Let's see. Oh, Madeline?
Hey, yeah, so like Erin, I was working in housing. I was working with a new nonprofit called Communities Resist. They're one of the few nonprofits that do affirmative litigation in housing, which means that you take your landlord to court. So instead of being in the defensive posture with the sort of prospect of eviction, you're organizing with other tenants in the building and you're trying to get improved conditions. So I looked at cases that ranged from sort of basic HP, where you take your landlord to court, all the way escalating to where the landlord's property is in a state receivership or a city receivership, a 7A action where a nonprofit takes over rent collection and repairs. So it was interesting for that. I did eviction defense work as a paralegal beforehand in the nonprofit sector, and I was wondering like if I really sort of had a calling for litigation. And I think that this summer internship made it clear that although I love research, I prefer sort of the direct transactional work with clients in the nonprofit sector and in government. So I think for me, what helped is just to keep me sort of in the loop with the grassroots in New York City, because I want to do nonprofit adjacent work with the city government or the federal government in housing space. And so I think understanding what the needs of your consumers are or your clients, be they most likely tenants, I think is really important. And to understand what their advocates look like, what the organizations are like, what motivates them, I think is important. So I found that was really valuable. I think that, everybody at Communities Resist is really a very dedicated public servant. And they just have like a really organic vibe where they are really about organizing tenants. Their lead organizer has a lot of say in the decisions made in terms of legal representation, which is again unique for nonprofits in housing services. So if you sort of like the smaller scale kind of organic sort of spirit of a nonprofit organization, that's definitely a great place. I mean, I limited my work to research because I didn't feel the urgency to learn, to have my name on all these other documents, just because it just was not something that was my calling. But I think if you want to get a full array of like writing samples, etc., I think you would definitely have the opportunity to do that there. So I recommend it for anyone who knows that they want to do litigation.
Great, thanks so much. I don't think Taylor is here, right? Unless she came. Well, let's go to Cam and I can try and see if she's here. Cameron.
Hi everyone. My name's Cameron or Cam. I'm a 3O, and I think like Professor Godsoe was saying earlier, even if you don't get Sparrow your first time applying, you should apply again, because I'm someone who I applied coming into BLS, didn't get it. And then I didn't apply in my first semester of 1L because 1L is very busy. It's a very busy year. So I waited until my 2L year to apply, and then I got it. So my summer between 2L and 3L year, I was able to get funding from my internship. So I interned with Anna at the Tenants' Rights Coalition at Brooklyn Legal Services. And it was a really great experience. I think there were 4 interns. So we each got like a lot of experience working one-on-one with like our different supervisors. So my supervisor was Katie Grisona, who happens to be a Brooklyn Law alumni. And so because of that, like we had like a really good relationship, and I worked on a lot of stuff with her. And I also really liked that Brooklyn Legal Services, there's so many staff members, and you get to basically like interact with all of them, because the Tenants' Rights Coalition made sure that we had like trainings on every different topic related to housing, and that we got to meet the paralegals and the intake hotline people. And so I got to work with some of the paralegals really closely on building work. So I got to go canvass a building in Flatbush. I got to go to a Know Your Rights training at a rent stabilized building. And then with Katie, I worked on, there was an emergency trial that we had to prepare for. It was an illegal lockout against New York City Housing Authority. And we got to prep the client for trial and track down witnesses. And thankfully, the NYCHA settled the case the day of the trial, and the client was able to get back into his apartment. But it was really cool getting to work on my first trial. I'd never done that before, so that was a really great experience. And then I also liked that Legal Services NYC has a wall-to-wall union. because I think it's really important to recognize that legal services workers are workers at the end of the day. So look out for when you're applying for internships, I would look out for places that have unions, because those places are really important, and that's important to have. And then I also got to have a few in-person opportunities. I got to go into the office, so that was good. It wasn't just all online. And then in terms of just like Brooklyn Law, like feel free to like use me as a resource for a lot of different things, because I'm involved in a lot of things on campus related to public service. So I run the Claro Clinic, which is consumer rights issues. I've done the consumer rights clinic, and I'm doing the housing rights clinic right now. So I'm just generally interested in tenants' rights and consumer rights. So if you want to ask me questions about that, feel free. And I also am the president of Outlaws, and I'm on the board of National Lawyers Guild. And a lot of people in Sparrow are also in NLG. So it's a kind of like an overlap thing. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I mean, all of these guys are like a total wealth of information about all kinds of different community activities or organizing activities at BLS. So please like take them up on their offer to email. So two left, we have Caitlin and Anjani.
Hi, everybody. I'm Caitlin. I'm a 2L. This summer, I was at the ACLU of Connecticut, and it was fully remote. I have no ties to Connecticut, but I ended up applying because they kind of, in their listing, they said that most of their cases were about criminal law reform projects. And that's what I'm interested in, is criminal law in general. So I decided to apply. And I think the really cool thing about the ACLU affiliates in different states is that they work on all different kinds of issues. So I got to work on a First Amendment case, prisoners' rights, LGBTQ plus rights. And for some of those cases, then the national affiliates would get involved with like people who have expertise in those areas. So that was really cool exposure. I got to sit in on mediation with the Department of Corrections with a magistrate judge, which was on Zoom. I worked on an internal memo, worked on a motion, so got a lot of different experiences. And one thing that, if this comes up for any of you, I was really nervous because it's only 2 lawyers and I was going to be the only intern. And I thought that that might be really intimidating, but it ended up being amazing because I felt like they could just really seamlessly fold me into everything that they were doing. So don't shy away from that if that comes up when you're interviewing somewhere. And please reach out to me if you want to talk more about that or about the ACLU in general. And I think the best thing about the Sparrow program has been meeting other students, like people have said, but also meeting professors, because I think 1L, you know, your schedule is set for you. You're just going to meet the professors in your doctrinal classes. But being in Sparrow, I got to meet all of the public interest professors right away, which was really, really great. And then had that support system. So highly recommend. And I'll also drop my information in the chat if you want to talk about anything criminal law related. I also did family defense work before school, so would love to talk about that.
Thanks so much, and thanks for your patience, Anjani. It's and then if the fellows can stick around for a little bit, if some of the people thinking of applying have questions for them, that would be great. But if you have to go, that's fine too. So Anjani.
Okay, I'll keep this short. I know people are waiting for their lunch. So this summer I worked at Sanctuary for Families with their immigration intervention project. I was exposed to a broad range of immigration issues with clients from all over the world. The work was extremely rewarding. It was very diverse. I had 6 of my own clients seeking different kinds of immigration relief. And throughout the internship, I worked on developing asylum affidavits, completing immigration forms, writing motions. I wrote a couple letters to ICE. And then I had instances where I addressed case management needs that were totally separate from immigration relief, which I'm sure once you get into the public interest world, you will find that you often go outside of the scope of what your specific job is. But that was really great because we would be able to help the person as a person and not just address their legal issues. So I actually stayed on with one of my clients who has an immigration hearing on Monday. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that her and her kids get asylum relief. And the really great part about Sparrow is that it's so much bigger than the community that you can see at BLS. One of my supervisors was a former Sparrow fellow. Like, decades ago. And so this community extends way far back into people who may be your supervisors in the future. And you're just able to get so many networks through this fellowship. So absolutely would 100% recommend it. If you'd like to talk about immigration or deportation and removal defense, which is where my interest primarily lies now, feel free to email me and we can talk.
Great, thanks so much. Do people have questions? Okay, well, yeah, I know people are probably hungry or like also have to get ready for class, but thank you so much. And please, again, reach out to any of us with questions. Like I said, the application is available online and it's due October 29th, but definitely take Danielle up on her offer, and as she and her colleagues can be really, really helpful with it. I'll just stick around for a couple minutes, but thank you so much to all the fellows who spoke and everyone who came.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question.
Sure.
I was a few minutes late, so I missed where you can find the application and also what Danielle could, how she could be helpful or how you could be helpful.
Sure, yeah. Danielle, do you want to take that or?
Like, you say that again? I'm sorry.
Sorry, where the application is and how your office can work with them.
Okay, where the I think the application, was it attached to the email that Marva sent out, Cynthia?
I don't think so. It's apparently online on the Sparrow webpage, but I know sometimes it can be like challenging to find stuff. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, if you, and then we can always put it on our BLS Connect page, but that's, sorry.
Yeah.
It is on the external page and we'll circulate that. Maybe that we can circulate that to all students. And the way that it works is you just email publicservice@brooklaw.edu and just set up an appointment, and we'll walk you through like what the essay should look like. We'll help you draft it. We'll work with you on your resume. So you'll get full, as actually the text that I got was Jackie going to the open office hours. I apologize. I was looking down to answer questions about it, but really any question, we'll just kind of go over it all with you. So that's what we do.
Oh, okay, cool. Here, I just found the link. I hope this is the updated one. Oh, you're faster, Cam.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, it's a totally good question because it's hard to find stuff on.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
I just sent the application to Jackie because that was what she texted me. Like, it was very funny that it was the same question.
Oh, really?
Because she's going to be answering the questions in the lounge.
Yeah, maybe we should. I mean, I guess it wasn't that hard to find compared to.
No, I might pull it. I might put it on our, like, a link to it on our BLS Connect homepage or our Canvas page, just like put it in, just a link to that though, not the application, like just so there's only one link, but just so students can kind of hunt it up in a couple of different places, like a way to find it. Not because I know that was a disaster. We used to put the application in different places.
Oh, really? And then people would fill it out more than once or something?
No, they wouldn't be all updated. So then there'd be like 4 applications floating around. And so nobody would ever know what the deadline was. And so.
Yeah, I remember when I applied, the date that's at the bottom, it was like a completely different year. Because I think online. It was like
I know. That was probably me. Yeah. Bad. I know we have to go back and like delete all the things, but thanks so much, Cameron. I know you're so busy, so thanks for coming and speaking.
No problem. What time was Jackie supposed to be in the lounge?
She said she's going to try to be there at 2, but if she's in a meeting right now, so if that runs long, it'll be like 2:15, but she'll be there all afternoon.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Danielle.
You're welcome. Bye.